Hi everybody, it's Alex Lane. Thanks for tuning in again to Lane, Hupp, and Crowley's little video blog here. One of the things I'm going to address today is just try to put it in very simple terms is what does your lawyer do? What does a criminal defense lawyer do? I'll describe it to you in the same way that I described it to my two little daughters when they were much younger. They said, "Daddy, what do you do for work?" What I said to them was, well, you know how when you guys misbehave, you have to go in timeout? And of course my oldest said, but Dad, I never misbehave. I'm perfect. And, okay, well, you've probably seen somebody else go into timeout. Grown-ups have a timeout also. It's called jail, right? So if a grown-up has to go to timeout, they have to go to jail. They then call your dad, and they ask your dad if I can talk to the prosecutor, talk to the judge to see if I can get them out of timeout, right? Or prevent them from having to go into timeout. It's my job, the defense lawyer's job, to try to persuade the prosecutor and or judge, or in some cases a jury. You start out with, hey, he shouldn't go to timeout because maybe he didn't do it, right? Do you have enough evidence? That's the first kind of analysis that you do. He's not the one that was talking in class, right? It was somebody else talking in class, so he shouldn't have to go to timeout. The second category would be, well, maybe he shouldn't go to timeout for that long, right? So maybe he was talking in class, but let me tell you the reason he was talking in class. The reason he was talking in class is because he was asking to borrow a pencil or something like that, that he wasn't being disobedient, that it was just, something to explain it. Or, you know what, look at his record. He's never been in timeout before. He's never talked in class before. So on this occasion, maybe give him a shorter time in timeout than you would have otherwise. And my daughters basically said, okay, yeah, we understand it, and that was the end of the conversation. But the defense lawyer's job, I mean, if you really just break it down, the state of Arizona, through the prosecutor's office, has accused you or someone you care about of doing something that they shouldn't have done. The defense lawyer's first thing that they look at, the first topic, and if you watch any movie about lawyers, read any book about lawyers, if you're talking to the prosecutor negotiating either a plea agreement or a dismissal, the first topic is, my guy didn't do it, or you can't prove it. There's a lot of talking under that heading. The second heading is something we would call mitigation, which is, look, even if he did do it, he didn't do it quite the way they said he did it. He didn't mean it. He's sorry. Those kinds of things that can still put some downward pressure on what the prosecutor wants to do. And maybe in some cases that means instead of pleading guilty to a felony, you plead to a misdemeanor. If it's a higher level felony where you're facing prison time, maybe it's less prison time. Obviously, the first goal of the lawyer is to see if the state can prove the charges that are alleged, and if they can't, then that's obviously the thing you want to lead with if you have that. In some cases you do, in some cases you don't. In the cases that you don't, you can still make some progress a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, by just going through those things.